Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another video. How's everybody doing? It's the second to last picks video of the 2018 football season. Second to last video. It is championship or conference championship weekend. We got two games this week, and then these two games are going to decide who goes to the Super Bowl. So just this video, and then we're going to have a Super Bowl video in a couple weeks, or I guess there's 2 weeks between then and the Super Bowl. So I guess we'll see what happens either next week or the following week. So this is it. So I've been doing these videos all year. I pick the teams I think are going to win every game every week. You know, and I'm pretty sure I'm fairly accurate with it. I mean, I tend to think that I watch so much sports that, you know, I kind of know what I'm talking about with this stuff. But who knows with some of these games. So anyways, it is conference championship weekend. 2 games, NFC, AFC, to decide who represents their conference to go to the Super Bowl. Sunday, 3:05 Eastern Time, you got the LA Rams at the New Orleans Saints. Sunday, that'll decide the NFC. Sunday, 6:40 p.m., New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs to decide the AFC. And then the winners of those 2 games are going to the Super Bowl. And then that's all she wrote for the 2018 season. It's bittersweet. It's really sad. I hate when football is over. Like I hate, you know, like when it's like March. You know, like March can go to hell. All right, I hate March. All right, you know why? Because football's over. Baseball hasn't started. It's like meaningless regular season basketball and hockey, really, because it really doesn't get interesting till the playoffs start, and it's kind of like April for hockey and May for really like mid to late April, I guess, for hockey. And then as far as the NBA goes, it's like the same two, except for this year. It's been the same 2 teams for, you know, many years at this point. But this year, you know, LeBron's out of Cleveland, and that team fell apart. And now he's in the Western Conference, and there's going to be, you know, so it's, I guess this year actually might be interesting, but it seems like we kind of already know as far as that goes. But let's not get sidetracked here. But anyways, it's like, and that stuff doesn't even matter. And then it's like, all that matters is like the, I mean, the Stanley Cup playoffs are interesting, but then, like, basketball, all that really matters is like the last, like, 3 minutes of whatever the deciding game of, like, Game 7. Like, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. It's just sad when football's over. It really is. But, you know, what are you going to do? So, anyways, it's that time of the year again. Conference championship weekend. So, we'll be picking the teams here. So, first, I'll just go in order here. What game's going first? What game's going second? It shouldn't be a long video because there's only 2 games. First game, NFC, LA Rams at the New Orleans Saints. I'm just going to give you my pick right off the bat here. I got the Saints winning this game. The reason I got the Saints winning this game is because these are 2 offensive juggernauts. Well, first of all, it's in New Orleans. Now, in the playoffs, you know, like home field and all, you know, like everybody likes to get all into that. In this particular matchup, it's in a dome, okay? So the Rams play in warm Los Angeles. The Saints play in a dome in New Orleans. So it's like weather has nothing to do with it. There's really not, you know, and these are 2 high-flying, you know, high-flying offensive teams, okay? They like to turn games into a track meet. You know, it's just whoever has the ball last wins. That's generally how it goes with these 2 teams. So, you know, you account for that. I think you have to look past where it is, because then that's kind of really not a factor, I think. I mean, you know, being in New Orleans, it's not like it's Seattle, it's not New England, it's not Kansas City, it's not Denver. It's not like one of those places that's really, really difficult for a road team to play in. So once you look past that, I look at the quarterbacks. I think, I'm not going to say Jared Goff doesn't suck. I'm not going to say that. He's overrated, though, okay? The story of the LA Rams is not Jared Goff. It's not about Jared Goff. It's about all the weapons around Jared Goff, okay? Because if you put Jared Goff on any other team, you know, like, does he make a difference? No, okay? He's really, I don't think he's that good. I think he's overrated. I mean, the second half of the season, like the final third of the season, he really kind of just really fell apart. Not fell apart, but he really lost his fastball down the stretch. The Saints, on the other hand, Drew Brees is a baller, all right? Drew Brees, I mean, he's got the all-time passing yards record for a reason, which he set earlier this season. So, I mean, it's they got the quarterback thing. As far as defense goes, I'm not really impressed with either team's defense. I'd have to say the Saints. They can play some semblance of a defense when they need to. I think of the Steelers game in week, was it 16? Week 16 or so? I think it was week 16. You know, when they were able to get stops when they needed them. I mean, throughout the year, I mean, eventually, you know, they can make some plays when they need to make plays. But for the most part, it's really two offensive teams, and I think when it comes down to coaching, I got to go Payton over McVay. I know everybody loves Sean McVay. I mean, it's really incredible. Youngest head coach, I believe, in like league history to get this far in his, it was like his second season, I believe. So that's pretty. I mean, he didn't do too shabby last season either. I mean, that's pretty impressive. However, Payton's been to the dance before. Okay, Sean Payton has won. He's won the Super Bowl. He's been coaching a long ass time. And you have to give some weight to that. That has to count for something. In a conference championship game, it's in his house. And I just, you know, he really motivates those guys. He gets those guys ready. Not that McVay's bad. I'm not telling you that. But, again, the story of the Rams is just it's Gurley and Cooks and friggin' just throwing the ball, like 40-yard passes every time. Like, that's that team, okay? The Saints, I feel like it has to do more with grit and the quarterback and the coach and buying in and emotion and all those things. Not that the Rams don't have that. It just feels like the Saints, when the rubber hits the road, the Saints have what it takes. And I feel like the Rams, if you put them off their game plan, because they're used to just, you know, scoring every 5 minutes, right? And if they get behind and you make them play from behind and you throw them off a little bit, you know, you gotta have to ask yourself, you know, can they change their game plan? Can they be flexible? Can they play left-handed, right? Can they play from behind? Can they pass when they have to pass? Can they defend? Can they go out there and play stout defense? Can they get goal line stops? Can they do anything other than what they do, which is just have a track meet and run up the score? And I feel like when it gets into a situation like that, you got to go with the team that's proven it to you before, a team with grit in the quarterback, and that's got it going on between the ears. And I feel like that's kind of the Saints. Now the Saints, on the other hand, man, look, they're not perfect. I feel like I wouldn't put it past the Saints to like screw up in a big spot. You know, like I always think of like well, I guess like last year. I guess like every year. I always think of that. What was his name? Kenbrell Tompkins, 2013. They were beating the Patriots. There's like 10 seconds left, and they give up like this ridiculous touchdown in the end zone. And that's why they've only been to the dance once, or they've only won once. You know, so I just feel like it's kind of like what I said about the Rams. You know, it's kind of, you know, they're kind of a track meet team too. I just feel like, you know, at the end of the day, just they have that veteran experience, and that kind of matters for a lot more when it gets to, you know, when it gets difficult and you have to make decisions and manage the game and you get behind. Like, that's when that stuff kind of matters, and I feel like the Saints have more of that. Are they going to win this game? I mean, so they played each other before, right? The Rams and the Saints, they played each other in week, oh man, which week? It was week, what was it? It was like in, whether October or November. I think it was, I forget. So I mean, it was either like week, I don't know, it's called like week 8, 9. I forget which number week it is, but I know the Saints won, right? It was a shootout, high scoring game. Yeah, here it is. It was 45-35. The Saints won. It was in New Orleans. And so then there's like the revenge factor, but when you look at it historically, like, you know, that kind of can go both ways. Like, I always think about, you know, like, just think about times where, like, teams face each other in the playoffs after having played in the regular season. You know, let's see, does that happen this year? I mean, it's like, obviously this year we don't know what's going to happen yet. We know that, like, the Chargers, they lost to the Ravens, they came back and beat them, so there's kind of like that revenge thing. I always think the greatest story about that, or not the greatest story, but just one of the most noteworthy stories as far as that goes, 2007 when the Giants played the Patriots and they lost in a close game, and then a few weeks later in the Super Bowl, the Giants won. So it's kind of like that revenge factor, but I feel like that was like, I don't know, it feels like it was a long time ago when the Saints last played the Rams. But really the story of that game, you know, it wasn't like, you know, like that Chiefs-Rams game where it was like 55-53, just some insane score, right? It was 45-35, so it's still a high-scoring game. However, you know, you can just see that the Rams, you know, when it gets into a big spot where you have to be able to manage the game and do what you have to do, I just feel like there's kind of like, in this game, I guess it was a 10-point difference. It feels like it's worth 10 points. Like there's 10 points there that have to do with, you know, can you go out, can you run the ball when you have to run the ball? Can you take time off the clock? Can you manage your timeouts? Can you do what you have to do? And I just feel like I have to give that to the Saints, excuse me. And the Rams aren't a bad team, but I just feel like this is the Saints year. It just, above, screw everything else I said, this is the Saints. It just feels like it's the Saints year. It really does. So I got the Saints in this game. I feel like it won't be as high scoring as people think. I feel like this one here, like teams know that everybody's expecting a high scoring game, and I think they know they have to get some stops to give their team an edge. So I feel like both teams are going to go in there and do that. So yeah, it won't be a track meet like it usually is. I feel like this could be like in the 20s or 30s. I feel like it could even be like, it could be like low 30s, I feel like. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, I got the Saints win this game. I feel like it's their year. Next game, and the last game, the second game, AFC. This one's at 6:40 Eastern Time. New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs. So these two teams this year, they played each other was it the same weekend that they both played, the Rams and the Saints and the Chiefs and the Patriots? I don't know. I think it was like in October or something like that. Patriots won 43-40 or something like that. Patriots won that game. And the story of that game was, you know, first and foremost, I think the Chiefs are better. I think the Chiefs are better than the Patriots this year. I think the Chiefs are the best team in the league this year, to be honest with you. I mean, you look at what that, if their defense didn't suck, and it's actually gotten better the last couple weeks, like in a way, like, and I know that's like the last couple weeks. What about the whole season? Well, you know, to be honest with you, when you look at it, it's like all of a sudden, I'm not sure how you'd even describe it, but it's not so much that they can get stops, it's that there's like a physicality, there's a pass rush, there's just, it's not a hot knife through butter like it was the whole season. So when they played each other earlier in the year, you know, really the story of that game was that, first of all, Patrick Mahomes was good, but he overthrew. I remember watching it, because I remember watching both of these games, the Rams and the Saints and the Patriots and Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, he overthrew some guys, he had a pick, but for the most part, he was really good. And really the Chiefs had trouble getting going at the beginning of that game. Like, the Chiefs are a team that they really have to come out and, like, put up 14 points in the first 10 minutes, right? They have to play with the lead. Because if the Chiefs fall behind, if the Chiefs get behind in a game and they're down, like, I don't know, like 10 or whatever, and they have to start managing the clock, which Andy Reid, you got to watch out when he starts, you know, starts managing the clock, it gets iffy down the stretch. You know, Patrick Mahomes, you know, if the other team, you know, they take away the running game, he's going to step up and make big throws. He takes a sack, and now it's like, you know, 3rd and long, or you're behind, or you got to drive the length of the, you know, the other team's playing stout defense. You know, they're jamming Kelsey on the leg. You know, if there's some strong adversity and you have to make game management decisions, and you have to come from behind, play deep, rely on your defense, and, like, you know, do something that's not what you usually do to win, which is just start, you know, okay, we're going to bring the tight end over here, we're going to spread the running back out, we're going to put him over there, and then we're going to, you know, flip these two guys, we're going to have them run across a route, and then the tight end's going to signal this way, and we're going to, you know, take the direct snap to the tight end's going to toss it back to the quarterback, and then we're going to bring the, what, you know, when you can't do that, excuse me, when you can't do that, and you have to go out there against a stout defense and stand there on 3rd and long and make big throws and not have a lead and do what you have to do and manage the clock and not play your game. It's almost like what I said about the Saints and the Rams, but it's more so with the Chiefs, because this is like almost 100% like what the Chiefs are about. It's just big and high flying and explosive. When you can't do that and you kind of have to play left-handed, can they do it? I say no. However, there really aren't any teams in the league that can make that are talented enough on defense to do what they have to do to stop the Chiefs and make them have to make those decisions and get them into those scenarios. It's happened only a few times this year. One of the times it happened was against the Patriots. The Patriots are a team that, like no other team in the league, that can scheme and game plan and come at you with a game plan that's totally unlike anything you've seen, like on film, or they can just, you know, Like, you know, when they played each other earlier in the year, you know, they're jamming Kelce off the line. Because I feel like the Chiefs' offense runs through Travis Kelce. Now, I know they got, friggin', Tyreek Hill, and they got Mahomes, and they got the running back, not Kareem Hunt, he's all gone. But, you know, their running game and everything that team does, you know, and it's like every player on that team looks the same. They're all fast, stout, you know, unbelievable explosiveness on that offense. You know, you got to contain Mahomes. Like, everything you have to do, it's like you can't do it. You really can't stop that team. And the Patriots came out when they played, and they did it for the first half, I would say. You come out there, you know, when I said it runs through Kelce, it's because if you cover everybody else, it's like now you got to cover him. And it's like you can't do everything you need to do to cover everybody else and cover him. You know, it's like he's kind of always like the mismatch, you know. So you got to jam him, screw his timing up, right, off the line. You got to, you know, don't let them get a running game going. Actually, matter of fact, you know, I feel like with against a team like that, you have to. I think you have to give them the running game. You have to let them run to disincentivize passing. You cover their receivers and you let them run because you can't win a high-scoring game handing off every. It just doesn't. You can't do it, right? So you cover their receivers, you get everybody back, and you just let them run the ball. The problem is, you know, they can spread the running back out, have a pass, and they can bring the you know, there's like almost no limit to what they can do on offense. They can just do anything. It's unbelievable. So yeah, anyway, so the first half of that game, you know, the Patriots go out, they jam Kelce, they let them run. You know, they're covering receivers. They're pressuring Mahomes. They're putting him into, you know, situations he's unfamiliar with. They're giving him, you know, like, these like kind of like amoeba looks, as they're called. It's, you know, they got guys just kind of walking around. You can't really tell what kind of defense you're looking at. You know, cover zero. You know, bring in pressure. Cover three. Cover. You know, he doesn't know what's coming next, right? That's what you have to do. And I think did he have 2 picks in that game? He might have. Yeah, I think he did, because I remember there was one like over the middle. He didn't see the linebacker, and then he threw a pick, and Mahomes threw a pick in the end zone. So I feel like, you know, if you can do, and they can only do that because you can only do that solely. You can only contain the Chiefs for so long. You can't stop them for a whole game. Then it just turns into a track meet, which is their game. But I feel like if the Patriots get ahead, or if you get ahead on them, then it's really kind of a coin flip, you know, because then Andy Reid's going to manage a game, which is something that he's unbelievable at schemes and plays and like offense. He's unbelievable at that. Tremendous. But if he's going to manage a clock and manage a game and make those kind of decisions, then it's like, then that's kind of the great equalizer there. Then it kind of doesn't really, the rest doesn't really matter. And then the Patriots, this is the Patriots' worst year since 2009. They're 11-5. Chiefs are 12-4, which the Chiefs were rolling there for a while. So, I mean, if the Patriots won one more game, or like I think they had like one close game against the Dolphins, like the Miami Miracle, if that didn't happen, this game would be in New England. So let's talk about home field in this game. So home field, it was supposed to be like all the talking heads on, you know, sports media were talking about, oh, it's going to be like 5 degrees and the cold and all that. Since then, the forecast is now 18, so it's going to be like a low of 18. So the thing you have to understand is, you know, Kansas City is a very difficult place to play. Arrowhead Stadium is a very, very difficult place to play. However, when it's freezing, and the fans have gloves on, you can't clap, you can't yet. Like when you're that cold, it really takes away home field, because it takes, you know, the fans are kind of freezing. It's not like you're just going nuts and you're clapping and screaming because you're like freezing, right? So that kind of brings that down a bit. However, like, you know, 5 degrees is a lot different than 18. Like 18 is just kind of you deal with it. It's still cold, but, you know, what are you going to do? So there's that. Is that going to be difficult? Absolutely. The Patriots have not won a road playoff game in forever, and that's generally because teams like the Patriots don't win road playoff games because they don't play playoff games on the road, and the few times that they do, it's because they weren't good enough in the regular season to get a good enough record to play their playoff games at home, which means they're not good enough to go on the road and win, because it means they lost games because they were soft and couldn't go and win them on the road during the regular season. So that's kind of, it's like kind of like a self, you know, fulfilling prophecy there as far as that goes. And they go to Kansas City and win. I'll give you my pick right now. No, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game. The Kansas City Chiefs are the better team. The game they played earlier this season, if Mahomes didn't overthrow some guys, if there was if any one of those things didn't happen, the Chiefs were going to win that game. It's like Denver a few years ago, the Patriots. I feel like like they're going to go in there. They're going to do what they have to do. You just can't do it for 60 minutes against that team. Patriots this year, 11-5, worst record since 2009 when they were 10-6, which was like an off year for them. Every year since then, it's been like 12-4, 14-2, 13. You know, whatever. They've just been really good. This year, 11-5, because they were just, they didn't have the talent. They were kind of soft during the regular season on the road. They were undefeated at home, but when they went on the road, different story. So 3-5 on the road. That's not gonna get it. That generally means you're a soft team if you're undefeated at home and have 5 losses on the road, because then that means you're on the road. It's unfamiliar. You're soft. You pack it in. It's just. That's generally what that means. That's what I think it means this year. I feel like they're going to go out there. I bet they'll even have a lead, but you just can't stop the Chiefs for 60 minutes at home in that building. You just can't do it. I don't think anybody can do it this year. So I got Saints. I got Chiefs. But I feel like they'll both be close games. And we'll see what happens. I'll give you my Super Bowl picks as soon as we know who's winning these games and who's going. And other than that, until next time, let's go to this one, guys. Thanks for watching.